This was a video that a week ago I didn't think I needed to make, because when all of the WrestleMania plans went up in smoke because of the CM Punk injury, there was one person that seemed to still have their WrestleMania plans on lock, that being Cody Rhodes. But color me stupid for thinking that the WWE could just follow the path that makes the most sense, because now the most uncertain fate right now belongs to Cody Rhodes. If you've been living under a rock, the entire wrestling world is up in flames because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has come back to seemingly upstage and usurp the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes from being able to finish his story and the main event of WrestleMania against the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Because Cody Rhodes has seemingly given his opportunity to face Roman Reigns to The Rock. At least as of the making of this video, that is what we've been left to interpret. So just like I did for Gunther and just like I did for Seth Rollins, here I am now having to make a video trying to predict who they will put Cody Rhodes against at WrestleMania. And I've got 10 options for you. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan like me, I know you're gonna like this channel because we upload daily wrestling content. All right, before I show you these names, I really feel like I need to express how I feel about the whole Cody Rhodes and The Rock situation. I truly believe that it is disingenuous for all of us to scream from the top of the mountains that we never wanted The Rock versus Roman Reigns. That is just a bold-faced lie. It was a match that made sense with the narrative that the Bloodline was telling. It was a match that we would have loved to see at WrestleMania 39. It was a match that we would have loved to see at WrestleMania 38. Hell, it was a match that we were kind of fantasy booking since as early back as 2015, and we would have loved it again at WrestleMania 41, WrestleMania 42. Somehow the WWE found the one time where this match just doesn't make sense. And it's not that I don't want Roman versus The Rock, because I still do. You just gave it to me in the worst possible way. If I have to create an analogy around this, imagine that you've been waiting for this delicious steak, a steak that is so succulent, a steak that you could only get once in a lifetime, but yet somehow the steak just never arrives. It just keeps taking way too long for the steak to get there to you. It's a steak you still want, but you're like, where the hell is it? And then while you wait for the steak, you decide to run a marathon. And as you're running that marathon, you're like, man, I'm really thirsty. I can't wait to finish this marathon and drink some water. And then when you cross the finish line at the end of the marathon, instead of water, there's the steak, the worst timed steak ever. And it's like, yeah, I still want to eat you, steak, but not after I just ran this marathon. I want my water. The steak is Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and the water is Cody Rhodes, because the water makes sense after the marathon, not the steak. And after the story that we've been telling for the past 2 years, it makes sense to have Cody Rhodes. It doesn't make sense to do The Rock versus Roman Reigns right now. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Let's start the video. All right, so the first option that you see here is still the option that needs to freaking happen, okay? It should still be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. I don't know how they're gonna retcon this. I don't know how they're gonna, change the narrative to make it so that Cody Rhodes goes, I changed my mind. I do want my WrestleMania opportunity against Roman Reigns. But right now, with the way that the world has reacted to the news of The Rock usurping Cody Rhodes and taking that WrestleMania spot, there is no way that you can move forward with these plans, especially in Philadelphia of all places, a crowd that is not afraid to boo their own sports teams and to boo Santa Claus. They threw snowballs at Santa Claus at a Philadelphia Eagles game, for God's sake. You cannot put The Rock out there and Roman Reigns to end up just getting booed out of existence in that arena. You need to find a way, in some way, shape, or form, to tell a narrative where Cody Rhodes comes back to where he's supposed to be, which is the match against Roman Reigns. As of the making of this video, this isn't happening. This is not where things are going. You might be watching this video a few weeks down the line. Who knows? Maybe a couple of days down the line and things have completely changed and we're back on the proper course. But as of now, this, at the very least from what I can tell, is not happening at WrestleMania. And that would be a tremendous shame, because frankly, when I look at the landscape of what's available for Cody Rhodes, this is the thing that makes not just the most sense, but frankly, it's the thing that makes the only sense. So even though right now the world of professional wrestling discord on social media is just set ablaze, I still think that the WWE has a pretty solid pulse on like what their fan base wants and what their fan base is going to react like. Triple H has to know how these things are going to go over the next several months, as he was part of the Daniel Bryan yes movement. He has to be able to read the temperature of the water and understand that any plans that they have for The Rock right now are going to completely go up in smoke at house shows, at Raws, SmackDowns. People are going to show their displeasure, and WWE doesn't want that. They're not a dumb company either. I think they're going to find a smart way to pivot to bring us back to where we're supposed to be, which is Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 40, and then do Roman Reigns versus The Rock, WrestleMania 41 or SummerSlam, whatever it is that you want to do, because I still want to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock. It is part of the bloodline narrative that makes a tremendous amount of sense. To me, it might even be the perfect finale for the bloodline storyline. It's just right now doesn't make sense. Give us Cody versus Roman Reigns. I don't know how you do it. Just bring us back to where we're supposed to be, damn it. Hey folks, I just recorded my full review of NXT Vengeance Day that's available over on patreon.com/SantiZap. Not only are you gonna get my review of NXT Vengeance Day, you're also gonna get my review of Friday Night SmackDown, where I talk about The Rock and Cody Rhodes, and you're also gonna get the upcoming Raw review, and you're gonna get all the Raw reviews and SmackDown reviews moving forward. You're also gonna get the monthly mailbag and the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days earlier than everyone else. So if you want even more wrestling content, go check it out. Patreon.com/SantiZap. Link is in the description or in the pinned comment. Just go check it out. See if there's something you like. Okay, back to the video. Here's option 2. Still Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, but now it's a triple threat with The Rock. Maybe The Rock has a bit of an ego and doesn't want to step away from this WrestleMania main event that he's already inserted himself into. I'm going to be honest. I don't see this being something that plays nice with Dwayne and his team. Dwayne Johnson, at the very least, the movie star, has been very adamant about protecting his intellectual property. That intellectual property being himself, Dwayne Johnson. Every movie that he does, he is the hero. He is the focal point. He's not even allowed to get beat up for X amount of time in a movie. And he even tried to make Black Adam on par with Superman in the DC world, which makes no sense, but it does make sense in Dwayne's head because he is Dwayne Johnson. He is the superhero of superheroes in the world of Hollywood. Maybe Dwayne Johnson is so dead set on his ways that he will insert The Rock into this WrestleMania main event, even if it goes against everything that fans want. Even if they give us a Schmidt and they still put Cody Rhodes in here, it'll still feel wrong. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see this happening because Cody Rhodes would be far and away the biggest hero, the biggest babyface in this potential triple threat match. And I just don't think, like I said, that plays nicely with The Rock's idea of how he is the hero to save us from the tribal chief. I don't see The Rock being the second fiddle in a triple threat. I really don't see a world where that happens. Maybe this is the only way to satisfy all parties. Maybe a triple threat match is the way to go. That would be a legendary match in terms of star power that's there. But I just feel like there's just too much clashing in terms of ideologies between people like Rock, Roman, and Cody Rhodes to really make this cohesive. But we'll see. I could be entirely wrong. Maybe Rock is willing to do business for the business of the WWE, and this could still be very entertaining, and The Rock doesn't have to be the focal point, the hero of this triple threat. So I'm going to throw this out as a possibility. Cody Rhodes versus The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Now I'm going to tell you that from here on out, like everything else here, I don't particularly love, except maybe one other one. Another option is for this to turn into a tag team match between Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns taking on Cody Rhodes versus The Rock. You think that might be crazy, but it's not completely ludicrous, considering when you look back at some of Roman Reigns' biggest match in 2023, they were tag team matches. The match at Night of Champions against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, where he teamed up with Solo Sikoa, and the Bloodline Civil War against the Usos, where he once again teamed up with Solo Sikoa. And then when we look at the history of The Rock as he makes a comeback and he tries to take a spot near the top of the card, his first match back in the WWE in 2011 was a tag match with John Cena, and then eventually that set up or continued the setup of the match between The Rock and John Cena. So maybe this is a way where we get Cody Rhodes, The Rock both standing tall, both getting to be the heroes of this tale. I hate this. I just want to clarify, just because I'm presenting this as an option, it doesn't mean that I like it. It doesn't mean that this is the way that I want to move forward. I'm just saying with the pieces, the Lego pieces that I have, I could probably make this work in some way, shape, or form. And WWE has shown that they're not afraid to throw Roman Reigns into high-profile tag matches. This could also be a world where the match ends with Solo Sikoa finally turning on Roman Reigns. I don't know, dude. This is all crappy headcanon, and it's crappy headcanon because this is a crappy solution. The next option is Seth Rollins. It's the most simple option available if they are dead set on doing The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and the fans are going to have no say. This isn't going to turn into some sort of Occupy Raw situation a la 2014. If they just decide to go with the course that WWE wants to go with, then I guess we end up at Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins 4. Is this going to be a good match? Yes. Can I convince myself to get excited for Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins? Absolutely. I know they've already faced each other 3 times, but in my head, I can make this work as a brand new bout because they are completely different characters in 2024 than they were in 2022. Seth Rollins is a fighting babyface. Cody Rhodes is not this unknown commodity from AEW. He's in fact now like the biggest babyface in all of WWE. This could be good. It's just not what we want. And it's not even me saying that I don't want to see Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes ever. It's just with the plans that we have right now, the blueprint that was set out over the last couple of years, this just doesn't make sense for us to come back here. If we end up getting this, sure, fine. I'll get on board and I'm probably going to love this. It's just, I don't want this yet. Here is another option that I actually do find intriguing depending on how things go. Let's pretend that we live in a situation where Cody Rhodes still gets to face Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. They're having a match and it turns into the classic Roman Reigns match where the bloodline comes in, interferes, tries to help Roman win, but then you hear, if you smell, The Rock gets to come out Baywatch style, be the hero, help Cody Rhodes by taking out the bloodline and evening the odds, thus helping Cody Rhodes win the WWE Championship and helping set up The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That way, Cody goes into WrestleMania as the champion, giving him an opportunity to kind of full circle his story and face Randy Orton for that WWE Championship. Look, I still would prefer Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. It's just the story that makes the most sense. But if I'm pulling a parachute and I need an emergency match for WrestleMania, I actually prefer this over all the other options that I presented, of course, aside from Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. I don't hate this because we can make those narrative threads link up and make sense, especially because Cody's story isn't just the story of winning the WWE Championship. It's also the story of his growth as a professional wrestler, his struggles as a professional wrestler in his early days of legacy, the Stardust days, the Rhodes Scholars, his time in AEW. There's more to the story than just beating Roman Reigns and becoming WWE champion. Randy Orton actually plays a tremendous part in the Cody Rhodes story, and we can make this work. I just think that this is premature, and this could have worked as a great SummerSlam match, as a great WrestleMania 41 match, but if we need to move through at lightning speed to get something to work, then I'm okay with moving up the timeline for Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton again, if we can't get back to the original plan of Cody versus Roman. Here's another potential scenario. Let's pretend that Seth Rollins, because that match with CM Punk isn't happening anymore, decides to go off and have surgery. He decides to drop the title and he drops it to Cody Rhodes, Elimination Chamber, or on some episode of Raw before WrestleMania. Maybe Damian Priest decides to cash in to have a WrestleMania main event caliber bout. He cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase against the World Heavyweight Champion Cody Rhodes. Again, all of this, I'm like deflated even talking about this because it's just not the right choice. Again, I'm just presenting options to you. I'm not telling you I like these options, but because of the ease of how we can get Damian Priest to that scene against a potential champion, Cody Rhodes, because of the narrative device that is the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's an easy solution. It's just not a great one. Drew McIntyre, maybe again, Seth Rollins could drop the World Heavyweight title before WrestleMania, drops it to Drew McIntyre, maybe drops it to Cody Rhodes, and then Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre end up having probably a really fun, solid program going into WrestleMania, and probably end up having a really great WrestleMania match. Honestly, I actually prefer this over Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, because at the very least, this is new, especially with this new version of Drew McIntyre, who really does feel like an awful piece of shit villain that we haven't seen him play before. So this would be fresh. This would be new. This would be good. And I guess this satisfies a lot of things that need to be satisfied, like letting Seth Rollins go off and have his surgery, giving Drew McIntyre a big marquee match, and I guess giving Cody Rhodes a quasi main event. But again, with everything that's played out and how it's played out, the World Heavyweight Championship picture truly genuinely feels, like Roman said, like the losers bracket category. And that's not cool. It's not cool, because this category is full of really amazing workers, and I don't want us to think of it as the losers trophy. Another option that we could use involving McIntyre could be McIntyre versus Cody versus Seth Rollins, and then at some point in there, Damian Priest cashes in. That could be interesting as an option. Again, it's just not the option that makes sense for Cody Rhodes, but it's an option. Maybe we go in a different route entirely. Maybe Cody Rhodes truly just gave away his Royal Rumble victory, and he doesn't actually get a world title match against Seth Rollins or the World Heavyweight Champion. Maybe he just doesn't get a world title match. I don't know. I don't know if that's how they're doing it. I don't know if Royal Rumble victories are transferable coupons between main eventers. I don't know how they're interpreting this. I don't know if Cody is still considered somebody that can vie for the World Heavyweight Championship when he gave it to The Rock. I don't know how they're doing this narratively, but let's say he doesn't get any sort of world title opportunities. Maybe Cody's destiny at WrestleMania is just to have the best match of the night. And if you want Cody to have the best match of the night, it could definitely be against Gunther, the ring general, whether it's for the Intercontinental Championship or not. I really don't care, because I'm not really making a focus on the championship gold here. The focus is on Cody Rhodes stealing the show. And if you are going to steal the show, it's a pretty easy bet that Cody Rhodes versus Gunther is going to do that. Plus, again, these are two amazing workers, two people that deserve a really strong limelight match at WrestleMania, and two guys that have never really worked against each other. This could be absolute magic. Again, I just feel like we are just like the Randy Orton situation. I felt like this was an inevitability at some point anyway. But because of the circumstances, this car crash that this whole situation has turned into, now we're forced to maybe accelerate to get to this position when we could have really eased our way into a fantastic Gunther versus Cody Rhodes feud, and maybe in the summer or in the fall or maybe next year. I don't know. Either way, this would be really awesome, but again, it's just not something I want. And maybe we go full circle with Cody Rhodes' debut. Maybe he gets to play the Seth Rollins character, where he has a match at WrestleMania against an unknown opponent because he wasn't able to secure his own championship caliber match. And maybe Cody Rhodes goes out there, open challenge, and it gets answered by Okada. Now, I know that there's a lot of rumors circulating that Okada has signed with WWE, but will be starting in NXT. Still, I'm just throwing out these possibilities as an option, because Okada versus Cody Rhodes would be an absolutely mind-meltingly good match, but doesn't really make sense. I know, like, all of these didn't make sense aside from Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, but if we're going with the pivot where we're focusing on Cody Rhodes just stealing the show and having a great match, I mean, this could end up being like match of the fucking decade, so it's sure, as an option, here it is. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you. This is where you get the sound off. Let's pretend worst case scenario. Who do you want to see Cody Rhodes face off against at WrestleMania, if not Roman Reigns? Sound off in the comments. Please be civil in there. I know that things are a little bit sensitive right now in the comment section of just about every wrestling related video, but it seems like this community has been pretty chill and has been pretty adult about having these conversations. So keep it civil down there, but talk, okay? That's it. I'm done. Thanks for watching. Get out of here.